Hey guys, so in this video, I wanted to share with you my journey as a student at Christ University. For those of you who don't know, I completed my Masters in Clinical Psychology from Christ University back in 2019. And oftentimes on my Quora page, I do get a lot of questions from students asking me about the faculty, admission process, everything related to Christ. So I thought that I'll make a video sharing with you my experience and hopefully answering some of those doubts. Before I begin the video, a word of caution. Most of the information that is mentioned in this video is from my experience of in-person classes at the university. So some things might have changed after the pandemic. So let's start the video. The entire video is divided into three major parts. The first part talks about the general rules and regulations across the university. Second part talks about the course experience of M.Sc Clinical Psychology. And third part talks about some limitations, disadvantages that I found about the course and college in general. So let's begin. The first part. One of the most prominent things that Christ University is known for is that they follow a dress code. Every student is required to wear either a traditional Indian clothing or a formal wear, especially during the working hours. You're not allowed to enter the university without following this dress code. Secondly, the university has a mandatory 85% attendance policy. Failing to meet so leads to blocking of your exam hall tickets, and you can only unblock these tickets once you pay them a certain amount or do assignments for your course. And third, you will have classes back to back from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. without breaks. The only break that you get is between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. and this is true for all courses. Now moving on to the second part. This talks about my general course experience, and this again is divided into two parts. First part talks about the admission process and the second part talks about the course experience. Now back in 2017 when I applied to the university, the admission process for this course consisted of three processes. First one was the entrance exam, then there was an essay writing, and third was the personal interview. Now for the entrance exam, I personally recommend these three books. You can pick up any one of these general psychology books and read about all subjects of psychology very thoroughly. I'd say that be extremely sure of every page of the book that you have picked up, because this information is not just asked for in the entrance test but is also tested in your personal interview round. Apart from that, if you want to do an in-depth reading, I'd recommend Carson and Butcher for abnormal psychology, A.K. Singh for research and statistics, and Barron for social psychology. Okay, and now for the personal interview. Now, usually the personal interview happens with one or two of the faculty members, wherein they ask you questions about psychology and other general interview related questions. Now, it's very difficult to predict what kind of questions they'll ask you from the subject, and it can be anything and everything. Some of the questions that I can remember that were asked specifically from the psychology section, I've mentioned them down in the description box. You can check them out. Apart from that, there are certain general interview questions like why are you choosing to study at Christ University and not any other university? Why this particular course at Christ? And how can you add value to the institution? These are some questions that are extremely predictable and are asked every time. So you can prepare answers for these and present them in a confident manner at that point of time. Also, another thing that one of our professors told us about the interview process way into the first semester of college was that when they are interviewing potential candidates, they're not looking for somebody who is extremely confident or has the best knowledge of psychology. They're just looking for somebody who has the baseline aptitude for the subject and can use the opportunities provided at the university to harness that potential. So just don't worry about the interview, be confident with your answers, and also make sure that you're reading up all the faculty profiles, because most of the faculties, any one of the member of the faculty will be present in your interview panel. So it's like a good habit to know who they are, what their research interests are. So just make sure that you're doing that, and I think you'll be good to go for that. Now moving on to the course experience. Now Christ University does have one of the best departments of psychology. Each faculty member is highly regarded researcher in their specific field of psychology, and they're very approachable, not just in terms of asking them questions about assignments, but also if you want career guidance, they're very open for that. Then apart from that, even though we were studying clinical psychology, I feel that all the courses at the university are structured in a manner that helps you get well-rounded information about all areas of that subject. For example, I was not just studying clinical psychology, I was studying social psychology, research and statistics, history of psychology, neuropsychology, forensic psychology. So at the end of 2 years, I was mostly competent in almost all fields of psychology. And when it comes to the course of clinical psychology, they make sure that they're not just teaching you the theory, but also giving you the practical exposure. Like we were taught each and every psychodiagnostic test that is available, the history of these tests, how to administer them, and even report writing for all the psychometric assessments. And we also had classes on multicultural competence, which were focused group discussions to teach each student about therapeutic skills. And one thing that was extremely good about the university was that in our last semester, all of us were asked to take personal therapy sessions in which we were asked to be the clients. And I think that is sort of a very good practice, because they feel that if we're going to be potential psychologists in future, our issues, personal issues, should be at bay. I think almost every psychology institution out there should follow this. So that's about it for the course experience. So the third part of the video talks about certain limitations of the university. Well, not exactly limitations, but some things that you should keep in mind if you're joining this university. First is that Christ does give you a school-like vibe. It doesn't give you the typical college environment. Like I said, it has a fixed dress code. You have classes from 9 to 4 p.m. There's a bell that rings after every class, and you even have a class teacher. So don't go in expecting that you'll get a very chill college-like environment, because that's not going to be there. Secondly, as I mentioned before in the video, the course itself is very expansive, but at the same time, it is very rigorous. Just to give you an idea, in my second year, I was juggling assignments from 10 different subjects. I was going for my internships, I was writing my research paper, and at the same time attending classes from 9 to 4. So I'm just giving you this information so that you have a full picture before deciding to join this university, because it does require you to be rigorous and do a little hard work if you want to succeed. That's about it. Hope you liked the content of this video. If you still have some doubts, go check out my Quora page. I have answered a lot of questions about Christ University there as well. And if you still have certain doubts, do mention them down in the comment section, and I'll try to answer as many as possible. If you feel that this video would be helpful to somebody else, do share it with them. Consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. Okay, bye-bye.